Welcome to the technician installation video for the Panasonic NS700 phone system. Once you get everything out of the box, it should look something like this. You'll see on here in the styrofoam there's two rack mount ears that are also included. If the customer does have a rack installed at site, go ahead and attach those ears to the side of the cabinet and put the phone system in the rack. Otherwise, it can sit on a table or a shelf and it'll be just fine. We've already programmed everything for you, so today pretty much should be just plugging in wires and turning everything on. But I want to go through everything just in case you have to do a little bit of troubleshooting work. System initialize normal switch. We always want to make sure that's on normal. If it's switched over to system initialize, it will reverse all of the pre-programming that we've already done, and you'll kind of be stranded because there's no backup either. So hopefully there's a piece of electrical tape covering that switch up. If not, go ahead and cut off a piece of electrical tape of your own and cover it up so the customer doesn't accidentally flip it to the initialize mode. Following that is the LAN port. That needs to be connected to the local network for two reasons. One, it provides connectivity for the built-in web browser that allows us to do some remote programming as well as the customer to get into remote programming and change system speed dials and names of extensions and that sort of thing. Two, if you have any IP Panasonic phones today that are going to be installed on the local network, this port needs to connect to the same network switch that all the phones are going to use so that they can talk to one another. Following that is a USB port. That's really used for troubleshooting and remote configuration file uploading. It's very unlikely that we're going to use that today, but I just want to point out what that is in case we do need to upload any files. A USB thumb drive goes in there and the phone system is able to read the files off of that stick. Moving to the right, we have the LCOT or line card. Lines 1 through 6 are all in this one card. It's 2 lines per port. In your install kit, you should see some Y cables. Those Y cables are going to have one connection that goes on this side and split off into 2 line connections for standard telephone cables. So go ahead and connect those for line 1 and 2, line 3 and 4, and line 5 and 6 right here using those pre-made cables in the install kit. Below that here is the EPG/music on hold ports 1 and 2. If you have a music on hold player that's part of the installation today, you're going to connect that cable to the port 1 here for music on hold, and the other end of that cable is going to go into the music on hold player. Further to the right, we have an EXTN1-2 port. If there's any cordless telephones that are part of the installation today, you should have also received a KX-NS700G antenna box that those cordless phones communicate with, and that box needs to connect to this port right here, this EXTN1-2. If they do not have any Panasonic cordless phones that are part of the install today, or you don't have that antenna module, then go ahead and ignore this port. You won't be using that today. Above that to the right, and you'll see the DLC16 port. If the customer has digital telephones, digital Panasonic phones that are part of the install today, instead of IP phones, or maybe a mix and match of both, you're going to use these ports here for the digital telephones that are wired to standard telephone cabling. You'll see here it says extension 1 through 16. There are 4 digital phone connections for each one of these ports. So 4, 8, 12, and 16 total connections. In your install kit, there should be some cables that split off from one of these ports to 4 digital telephone ports, if digital telephones are part of the install today. You also see we have a couple ports that are covered up with black electrical tape. If your particular phone system does not have those ports covered up with black electrical tape, please do so now. Those ports will not be used as part of any future installation or today's installation. And so by covering those up with black electrical tape, makes the whole install look a lot nicer and also avoids any customer confusion, because we certainly don't want them plugging anything into these ports that are going to be in error.